Is the Chicago Bulls starting five already set? I discuss what is going on, y'all. 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NBA. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And make sure to subscribe by clicking the button down below. I post daily videos on this channel, so you don't want to miss out. And to not miss out, go ahead and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I drop a video and turn on my post notifications. I hope you all like the new setup. I told you a lot of new exciting things coming to the channel. This is just the first of them, so stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss out. With that being said, to make sure you don't miss out, follow me on my Twitter and my Instagram, my social media, because I do tweet and update you guys on those a lot. Links down below and on the screen for that as well. With that being said, I don't want to wait any longer. Let's get into today's video. Okay, so it's July right now, okay? Which means the NBA season is still a few months away, 3-4 months to be exact. We've got a lot of time left, but for some reason, our starting lineup is already confirmed. Okay, that's not to say, you know, it's not normal for teams to have their starting lineups. But we're a young team. We've got a lot of young players, and our starting lineup is confirmed. But why is it coming out right now? Well, that's because our head coach, Jim Boylen, went on an interview on NBA TV and basically said that the starting five of the Chicago Bulls were set. And for the names, obviously not surprising, Zach LaVine, Otto Porter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr. But then he said our starting point guard is Kris Dunn. Okay, Kris Dunn, who we've heard in trade rumors this offseason. We've heard John Paxson go in on the fact that we need to upgrade the point guard spot. We've even drafted a point guard and signed another one in free agency. But yet Jim Boylen says we're starting Kris Dunn. Okay, so what the heck is going on here, folks? Let me address this, okay? First and foremost, I don't believe Jim Boylen for a second here, okay? He says a lot of things. I'm not the biggest Jim Boylen fan, if you guys have been following the channel for quite some time. Ever since we hired Jim Boylen, I've never been his biggest fan. I think he's too much into, you know, the rah-rah instead of the X's and O's. Talks a lot about, you know, I want guys who have good souls. I want guys who have good spirits instead of, you know, I'm just trying to get the best basketball players possible and put them out there in the best position possible. Now, he is the head coach, which means I do want to give him an opportunity. He has not had a full season to coach this team. But for right now, I'm not the biggest fan of Jim Boylen. So, with that being said, I don't believe him because here's the thing. John Paxson, the vice president of basketball operations for the Chicago Bulls, has come out himself and said there's going to be a competition for the point guard spot, okay? We drafted Coby White, like I mentioned. We signed Tomas Satoransky. Kris Dunn getting the starting job right away makes no sense. I want to keep Kris Dunn. I've said I don't want to trade Kris Dunn right now. If we're going to trade him, let's just wait until the trade deadline because his value is very low right now. And I've said, listen, when training camp starts, let these guys battle it out. May the best man win. But Jim Boylen comes on and says this. And again, if you watch the video, you can find it on Twitter. I'll tweet it out. So follow me on Twitter, by the way. He basically says, they ask him, okay, what is the starting five? Or not even what is the starting five. They ask him, who are the Chicago Bulls for people who don't know the Bulls? Okay, that's what the interviewers ask him. And he basically says, well, we've got our five. We've got, you know, Dunn, LaVine, Porter, Markkanen, Carter, that we've got our five set, okay? And that's how he kind of phrased it. He didn't say this is our starting lineup. He didn't use those words, but I bet you after that interview, when he talked to John Paxson, he probably got a phone call right after that interview from John Paxson, like, what the heck was that? Why did you say that? What are you doing, Jim? I don't want to hear that anymore because it's all over Twitter now, okay? So it was kind of a it was a slip-up from Jim Boylen, okay? He basically dropped the ball by saying that. He should not have said Kris Dunn is in the starters. He shouldn't have even mentioned the starting line. This is where I want coaches to give the generic answer of, hey, you know, this is our team. We're a young team playing hard. You know, we want to obviously win a lot of games, and we're just trying to improve. Give the generic answer. Why you got to give the starting lineup, okay? Because here's the thing. Players listen. Players see it. Coby White is trying to ball out in summer league so he can get the starting job. Tomas Satoransky probably signed, and he's hoping he wins the starting job. Chris Dunn thinks he's on the way out and you're saying he's the starter? Like, to me, it makes no sense. But again, I don't believe him for a second, and I think it was a slip-up, okay? So let's go back to the damn depth chart that I always talk about, okay? And I had to change it because of Jim Boylen, okay? And let's talk about the starting lineup for this team. Now, look, at the point guard spot, we've got Chris Dunn, we've got Tomas Satoransky, Coby White, and Archie Diacono, right? That's Ryan Archie Diacono. Me personally, I believe Coby White will win the starting job. And so, for me, I've had him as the starter penciled in. Tomas Satoransky can win. And obviously, Jim Boylen, our head coach, thinks it's Chris Dunn's job to lose, which I disagree with. The rest of the starters, obviously, we don't need to talk about. They're set. But to me, the starting point guard job should be a competition. We've got 4 guys. Now, I know Archie is not going to be our starter, but these other 3 guys have legitimate chances to be our starting point guard. Let them battle it out. If you guys remember in the NFL a few years ago or whenever Russell Wilson was drafted, you know, Pete Carroll and them had signed Matt Flynn to a monster contract. And then they drafted Russell Wilson, and everybody expected them to start Matt Flynn because he got paid a lot of money. But Russell Wilson won the job outright in training camp. And that is why he was the starter. And look at that. Ever since that happened, obviously, the Seattle Seahawks have counted their blessings since that day. So to me, same thing applies here. Let these guys battle it out in training camp. I don't want Bulls fans to panic as much. I don't think our starting lineup is set in terms of the point guard position. The rest of the 4 are. But, man, Daniel Gafford, have you seen him in Summer League? Man, he's been pretty impressive, okay? See, Wendell Carter Jr., you better watch out. You better perform because he's come for the job. But with that being said, the starting point guard spot, I do believe, is open for competition. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. If the Bulls, in fact, are giving Chris Dunn a job, I disagree with this. I think they're making a big mistake. I think they are basically not letting Coby grow as much as he could have. Just because you're a rookie does not mean you can't start. Lauri Markkanen started his rookie year. Wendell Carter Jr. started his rookie year. So I don't want to hear those excuses about Coby White. So I hope the point guard spot is an open competition. That is what I want. Let's not focus too much on what Jim Boylen said. I think it was a slip-up. But that's what I think, folks. Let me know what you guys think. Who should be the starter? How should they determine it? Leave a comment down below. Let's talk, Bulls fans. I want to hear from you guys. As always, thanks for watching.